I am legally blind. But it wasn't always this way. I grew up with normal vision in Nigeria, and I had one dream in life, to be a medical doctor in America. Right after high school, I got my opportunity, and I came to the United States. I landed at Chicago O'Hare with my dream in my front pocket, $200, and a duffel bag across my right shoulder. Yeah, $200 to become a medical doctor, that's right. Reality set in very quickly, and I realized I needed $200,000. So after I started pre-med, I joined the US Army to serve the country, giving me this great opportunity. Barely 2 years into my studies and military career, I became legally blind. It earned me a medical discharge. I left the military, and my medical studies went along the way. I tried another career, engineering. But after many years, I also gave that up. So legal blindness killed my medical dream and my military and engineering careers. Now, one of the problems with vision problems or visual impairment, legal blindness, low vision is that the public often doesn't understand what this really means. Most people think that vision is 100% you see very well, or 0% you see nothing. But that is so far from the truth. In reality, vision is actually a spectrum. Think of it as layers of gray. Let me tell you a story and give you an example. When I got my first driver's license, I went through the steps everybody else did. I went to the Department of Motor Vehicle, DMV. I took the vision screening test. I put my eyes into the machine, and in less than 10 seconds, I was able to read the letters and characters to the representative. Yay, I got my license. 2 years later, I had to renew, and so I went through the same process, but the result was different this time. When I put my eyes into the machine, I couldn't see anymore. My vision was cloudy, foggy, hazy. I spent several minutes. I cleaned my eyes, it didn't help. I put my glasses on, put them off, tried again, it didn't help. I even shed a few tears, it still didn't help. I was legally blind. Now, I'm not alone in this. Around the world, there are about 285 million visually impaired people. 39 million are known to be blind or very near blind, and about 246 million have low vision of various forms. Collectively, this demographic suffers a 90% illiteracy rate. This is a significant contributing factor to their poverty levels. And in terms of unemployment per country, in the United Kingdom, 75%. Mexico, 68%. Australia, 68%. South Africa, 98%. And here in the United States, 70%. And on top of that, in this country, the visually impaired, due to their disability, earn sub-minimum wages of sometimes as low as 20 cents an hour. So with visual impairment, legal blindness, low vision, comes blind assistive technology. These are the technology solutions we rely on to cope with daily tasks. Sadly, they have two drawbacks. One is hand holding, and the next is manual control. Imagine, as you're sitting very comfortably, that you had to hold both of your eyeballs with one hand, and then with your other hand, you had to keep adjusting it so as to see me clearly. I bet you wouldn't like that experience. So today's blind assistive technology solutions offer limited functionality, diminished productivity, as well as a poor user experience. This was the problem I set out to solve. I set out to tackle the hand-holding and manual control. For the hand holding, I wanted to find a way to make it hands-free. Everybody's sitting looking at me hands-free. And for the manual control, I wanted to automate it. These are the steps that led me to inventing brain control for blind assistive technology. And I'll walk you through a demo. What we know as normal vision is measured in acuity. Let's assume that this is 20 feet. So an acuity of 20/20 means that what the person sees from 20 feet away, the average pair of eyes can see from 20 feet away. So that's normal vision 20/20. The moment you can no longer achieve your 20/20, the first course of action is to get you corrected. It comes in the form of prescription glasses, contact lenses, and sometimes surgery. But that corrects you back to 20/20. So you're now corrected at 20/20. Now sometimes, even with your best correction, you can no longer achieve 20/20. Now you fall into low vision. And this is when blind assistive tech comes into play. Low vision is in the range of 20/40, 20/60, 80, 100, 2200. At 20/100, for example, it means that what you're seeing from 20 feet away, the normal pair of eyes, the average pair of eyes can see it from 100 feet away. So you need something like this to be able to help you cope. And when you get to 2200, that means your vision is 10 times worse than normal vision. That is legal blindness. You've become legally blind. And as you can see, I have to hold this handheld magnifier or blind assistive tech, and then I'm using my other hand to control it. So this is the problem that I set out to solve, because if you are a student in the classroom, how are you supposed to compete if you're holding something with one hand and using your other hand to control, meanwhile your peers are taking notes? So it's not a fair playing field. So I'm going to now show you Think and Zoom brain control. For the hand-holding problem, I introduced blind assistive technology to smart glasses. This takes away the hand-holding so a person can easily just wear it. And then for the brain control, I'm leveraging a pair of EEG or electroencephalogram brainwave reader. Now, what are brainwaves? At the very root of our thoughts, emotions, behavior, there are neurons inside of our brains that are communicating with each other, and they emit electrical impulses. These give rise to brainwaves. And we can collect it through a sensor, usually on our scalp. You can think about it like a thermometer that's simply collecting your temperature. Now, the Think and Zoom application works like a glue. It communicates with the person's brain via this EEG reader, and it also communicates with the blind assistive technology. And what it does is simple. It asks the person, hey, are you struggling to see? And if the person says yes, then it directs the blind assistive tech to magnify. Now, because the display on this pair of smart glasses is very small, I'm going to show this on a phone, which is a much bigger display. Oftentimes, before I do this demo, people always ask me, is this going to mess with my head? Not really. So in order to address that question, I created a very friendly game for us to visualize and see that we all have brainwaves. So I'm going to play a game. This game, when I launch it, you're going to see a bird trapped in a cage. And by me simply focusing and thinking of move bird, you're going to see the bird moving. I'm going to be moving the bird just simply by thinking with my brainwaves. So that's Kenti. I was able to free Kenti the bird and make her happy and fly away by simply thinking. So now that I've been able to show you activity of my brainwaves, and now we know that I have some, let's put it to some good use. The first thing you're going to see is blurriness. This is what visual impairment looks like. So I'm going to think of zoom in, and I'll be able to zoom into that. So that's Think and Zoom. And it reads as well. When there's enough lighting, it can pick up any characters. So this is brain control for blind assistive technology. This is the ability of humans to use their brain to literally drive visual magnification or reading assistance by simply thinking. And sometimes you can find yourself in a loud place, let's say a cafeteria. So I also created another solution, which is relatively hands-free by using a very small ring to also effect vision magnification. So I'm going to take away the brainwave now. And I'm going to put on this simple ring. And then I'm going to click on zoom in. And then zoom out. So with this small ring, you can still be able to have your hands relatively free and be able to do more. Now, Think and Zoom was developed primarily for those who are visually impaired. But brain control can be extended to other forms of disabilities. For example, people in wheelchairs. They can use brain control to move forward, change directions. Or people who suffer from ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, or even Parkinson's. These diseases are associated with tremors, muscle atrophy, and some spasms. Simply picking up a remote control to change the TV channel is a huge task. These folks can easily use brain control to achieve that. Now, I mentioned disability because today we have a disability crisis on our hands. 1.3 billion people around the world, that is 20% of the human population, has a disability today, collectively suffering a 50% unemployment rate, yet wielding an $8 trillion spending power. In comparison, the highest GDP on the planet is the United States at 21 trillion and China at 15 trillion. So 8 trillion will be the third largest GDP in the world. It's such a crisis now that it debuted for the first time at this year's World Economic Forum, thanks to the work being done by Carolyn Casey, who is legally blind as well, with her campaign, #Valuable500. Her campaign asks corporations to position disability as a global business leadership agenda. And she further asks, are you diverse-ish? Meaning, when you talk about diversity and inclusion, is disability also included in that conversation? And her sponsor is none other than Sir Richard Branson, who is the founder of Virgin Group. And he said, disability can no longer be a conversation left in the hands of health organizations and charities. And I couldn't agree more. If we truly want to build an inclusive society, a society that reflects all of our needs, we have to bring the best of our talents in entrepreneurship, innovation, and technology to tackle this huge problem. And we have so much technology at our hands today. We've got AI, blockchain, wearables, smart devices, and the list goes on and on and on. Let us remember that at any point of time in our lives, any one of us can be disabled. A lot of people are not born with disability. A lot of people become disabled later on in life. I truly believe that we can solve this problem. I truly believe that we can create a world where visual impairment or disability for that matter no longer steals dreams or kills careers. I believe we can create a world where we can give every person the opportunity to look, think, and zoom into their better, brighter future. I believe that if we come together and just think about it, we can literally bring control ourselves out of disability. Thank you.